All right, hello. Welcome to the webinar today. We are doing a question and answer session for our Pronunciation Pro students. So all those who have a membership to Pronunciation Pro are welcome to come to these webinars and to get personalized help and feedback on specific questions they have as they're going through the course. So I'm glad you're all here. It's really fun to have such a big group, and but small enough. I like to keep these small enough that that everyone's questions are answered. So we usually try and keep it to an hour, but I'm always a sucker to make sure that everyone gets their question answered. So sometimes I stay longer just to make sure that we get everyone's questions addressed. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with some questions that were emailed to me. And so we have a few of those, and then we'll go ahead and go into the questions box. So go ahead and write your questions in the questions box of the control panel there, and we will get to them one by one. All right. Okay, so just as a little introduction, sometimes I like to just tell you a little bit about what we're doing and a little bit about me. But my name's Annie Rudin, and I am a speech-language pathologist. I've been working with accent reduction specifically with accent reduction since my oldest was a baby. So he's 8 years old now, so it's been about 8 years. And this last Monday was a holiday off of school for my kids, so it was President's Day, so it was a holiday off of school, and we went on a hike. So this is a picture of the hike that we went on. And we live in Arizona, which is a desert climate, and this hike we went on is through this, what they call saguaro. The saguaro cactus is what you see behind my boys there on the rock, and it's this forest of saguaros. So very unique geology here, and we hiked all the way up to the ridge there. At where you see the kind of the brown start. We hiked all the way up there, and there's a little cave up there. So that was kind of fun. And these boys did amazingly well. We were so proud of them. All right, just wanted to get a little bit of feedback from you, and maybe let me just kind of ask a little bit. Some new things that we implemented the last few weeks were the weekly quizzes and badges and certificates that you earn through the program. So the member badge is what you get based on what membership that you are a part of in the program. And then the weekly quizzes, you get a badge for each quiz that you pass with a 90% or higher. So the quizzes, and I hope all of you know that, is if you didn't quite get 90%, you can view the answer. You can view your quiz, see what you got wrong, kind of study and identify why it is that you missed that one, and then you can retake it. Okay, we really want this to, we're not just wanting to have you take the test once and say, oh man, I got these wrong, but not understand why you got them wrong. So we want this to be a learning experience for you. So as you take the quiz, if you don't quite get 90% or higher, I encourage you to go back and look at the answers, see what you got wrong, and kind of learn from that experience so that you can take it again and get those questions correct. Okay, I would love to get feedback from you about the quizzes. If you find that there's a question you just really don't understand, you can't seem to figure it out with the notes and the materials that we have, please let me know and we can talk through that. And also, it's a new system, it's a new thing, so sometimes there's glitches, sometimes there's issues. Mistakes are proof that we're trying, right? So let me know and we'll adjust. Another thing is that I'd love your feedback on is for new students, we've started this Strong Start email and Keys to Success emails. I've gotten some feedback that it's really, really helpful, and some feedback that it's just too much. There's too many emails going out, and the emails are too long and things like that. So we really want to make sure it's a good fit for you. We have added on the Strong Start emails that you can opt out of those emails if you think, you know what, I don't need this much guidance, I don't need this much direction. Then you can opt out of those. I'd love for you to continue to get those Keys to Success emails because it does talk about key things like commitment and making sure that you have a study time and things that I feel are just incredibly important for you to be the most successful in this program. If you are a longtime member and haven't gotten these emails, just email me and say, hey, I'd like to get those, because I have summarized them into another page on the website that I can send you a link to so that you can get that same information. Okay? And actually, let me just kind of go into the questions box here. But if, and just real quick, can you, both with the quizzes and with the emails, can you, if you have any kind of feedback or anything, please write those in the questions box here, and so that I can review them and get a feel for, okay, are they helpful? Are we running into any problems with the quizzes and the Strong Start emails? You know, are they helpful? Are they too much? So if you have a little bit of feedback to give me in the questions box here today for the webinar, I'd love to hear it. Okay, so you can just write those in there, and I'll review them. Okay, thank you so much. And I'm actually going to have to move my control panel over so I can read this question. Okay, so this first question is from Charles. So Charles asked, I've noticed that in your lessons you pronounce the letter A sometimes as A, or I'm not sure what EI is. A lot of times that's A as well, but A, there's the long vowel and the short A. But I don't know which better represents the sound, but it's also, but it's the sound of the A in Savior. Okay, so A and Savior. So A, so that's the long A. And sometimes it's as so sometimes the letter A is pronounced as Okay, is there a rule for the difference in pronunciation, like the one for the when it's followed by a consonant or vowel? Okay, so Charles is asking about the letter A. How do we know if it's a long A or a short A or even the sound? Sometimes it is the sound. Okay, let me go ahead and get into this. Okay, so to answer your question, Charles, and let me get into, and I apologize kind of the back and forth here. I'm getting my desktop computer fixed right now, and so I have to do my laptop, and sometimes it doesn't work to use the control panels at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, Charles. Charles, you there?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. What's up?
All right. Glad to have you here. Okay, so we're finally addressing your question about the A sound.
Yeah, about time.
Okay, so here is what the A sound, the difference in the A sounds. So with the pronunciation rules, or the spelling rules for this pronunciation for the A, we have both the long A, like in Savior, like you were saying, long A, and the short A that sometimes it can be. So the long A, the rule for this is typically, you know, there are always exceptions, but typically when a vowel is either right next to another vowel or has only one consonant in between. So you'll see in Savior, we have the A, and then we have a consonant, and then we have another vowel, right? So the rule is, or the saying goes, when two vowels go walking, the first one does the talking, okay? So when two vowels are either right next to each other or have just one consonant in between, the first vowel does the talking, meaning it gets the long pronunciation, So in this case with the A, that A gets its long vowel. So here are some examples of that long A. Savior has that only one consonant in between those two vowels. Today has AY, you know, two vowels together, and Y is considered a vowel. It's sometimes considered a vowel. AI and train, two vowels together, and then same has only one consonant in between those two vowels. Okay, so that's typically the spelling rule for the long A. So contrast that with the short A, when there's one vowel that's just alone, like in hat, or there's two or more consonants in between the vowels. So do you see how pattern has the A, but then it has two consonants and then another vowel? Okay, so that means that the vowel, that first vowel, gets its short pronunciation pattern. Same thing with flattery. It's surrounded by consonants. So the saying I like to, or the kind of metaphor I like to give is, let's pretend vowels are kids, okay? Are kids and consonants are adults, okay? When two or more kids are together, it gets loud, okay? So there's going to be that bigger sound. But when you put, and then when you put even one adult in between them, that one adult is not enough to keep them quiet, okay? One consonant, it's not enough to keep them quiet. But when you put two adults in between the vowels or the kids, then it's enough to keep those kids quiet, or those vowels quiet, okay? If that helps you, so Charles, you can go, you're unmuted, so go ahead. I saw you raise your hand.
Yeah, what about when the A is on its own? You know, like in there is a boy here. There is a man there.
There is a
I also
man
want
there.
to, yeah, the A in that sentence.
Yeah.
Like when the A is on its own. Yeah, I also
Yeah.
wanted to know that.
So that would be a short vowel because it's alone. Man. You're talking about the A in man.
No,
There is
no,
a.
the A, not the A in the man. The A, there is a. There
Oh,
is
okay.
a boy. Yeah, that A. Yeah, that's
There
one.
is
Something
a.
there is
Oh, yeah,
A.
yeah,
There is
yeah.
a. Yeah.
Okay, so typically the A just alone, like there is a man, right?
Yeah.
So typically it's in connected speech. A lot of native speakers are going to say you know, a man. When you want to emphasize, it's kind of like where you want to emphasize, you say there's a huge, you know, there's a horse there. You know, if you're wanting to emphasize, a lot of times it's saying a, but most often you're going to get
Okay.
which actually also brings me to this, is when is the a pronounced as in just typical words. And so the change from the letter A, the pronunciation of the letter A to an sound in words typically has to do with the stressed syllable. So this is kind of a common reduction in English for native speakers, is to reduce vowels to the sound when they're not stressed. So for example, so let's take examples of unstressed A's. So account. So the stress is on count, right? It's second syllable. It's not a count. It's account. Because the stress is not on the A at the beginning, it's going to get a reduced pronunciation, which is typically account, appreciate. Okay, it's because the stress is not on that A. And it doesn't happen all the time, but you'll see that when there's a vowel in an unstressed part of the word, sometimes it gets a reduced sound. Okay, so then with stressed syllables, you know, with A in the stressed syllable, like appetite. 80, and attitude. Those are first syllable stress in all of those situations. And that first syllable has the vowel A. So it's going to get its full pronunciation. Appetite. And you'll notice I didn't say appetite because there's two consonants in between those vowels, right? It gets the short pronunciation. Appetite. And then there's 80, EI in this situation is going to produce that long A. And then attitude has a short vowel because of those consonants that are next to it. Does that make a little bit more sense? Does that help, Charles?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Good. So those are, and really what we do is we have the rules. We have the rules, and there's some exceptions to the rules, but if you understand the rules and kind of how this all fits together, then about 80% of the time you're going to be right. Okay? So what we're doing is first we're learning the rules to get that first 80%, and then we start working on the 20% that are kind of the exceptions. But, you know, but if you really understand these rules, you're going to get it right most of the time. Okay?
All right.
All right. Excellent question,
Thank
Charles.
you.
Thank you. Okay, so the next one, the next question is from, so I'm not sure the pronunciation, Abebech. And Abebech was the one that was having a hard time attending the webinar or joining the webinar, so darn it. So I'm going to go through this question, and I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. So, but the question, there are a couple of questions. The first is the word la, and my first thought, because this is a Spanish word, but my first thought is tiara, just based on other Spanish words that are similar in pronunciation. But it says when people pronounce this, they say la terra, and the J is silent. Is there a reason for that? I'm not sure. This comes down to one of those area differences. So if it's a Spanish pronunciation, our Spanish speakers are going to know best how to pronounce that. A lot of times Spanish words in English take on a new pronunciation, especially when it's an area or a street or a city name or something like that. But words like fajita, that J is more of like a H sound, fajita, and which is, you know, similar to the Spanish pronunciation, but in a more Americanized way, I guess you could say. And maybe some of our Spanish speakers can kind of chime in here. But that's typically what we see. Oh, okay, Ignacio is saying tierra means scissors. And actually, Ignacio, I'm going to unmute you and just let's talk about this a little bit. Ignacio, are you there? Oh, it looks like maybe your mic isn't working. I'm going to leave you unmuted in case you can kind of connect the mic.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, so we need a Spanish speaker to kind of chime in here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying this means scissors, right?
Scissors, tijera. It's a tool to cut paper or cloth or any kind of material.
Okay, so say it again for me.
Tijera.
Okay,
tijera.
So there's a little bit, so it's not quite an H sound when you say it, but the equivalent to us in you know the States is more of a
tijera.
Yeah.
Tijera in English maybe tijera or fajita, fajira.
Fajita, yeah.
Fajita, so fajira is the same tijera, fajira.
Yes.
In English.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, there's just those slight differences based on, we're using the sounds of our language, right? To try and say
Yeah.
Spanish words.
Tortilla. Fajardo, the last name Fajardo. My wife is Fajardo. They call here in Canada Fallardo.
Yes.
Fallardo.
Okay. Yeah, so it becomes more of a ya or a ha sound, typically when in the American pronunciation.
Yeah.
So my advice with this one is basically whatever people around you are saying for names like this. Like if you're in the States and there's a street name or a city or something like that, and there's a pretty common pronunciation for that, even though it's not quite right, like if it's a Spanish word and it should be pronounced a certain way, sometimes it just helps to use the pronunciation that's common around that area. So thank you for your help, Ignacio. All right, the other question is then I have difficulty pronouncing the word shipwrecked. Okay, shipwrecked. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that there are two, well, I guess it depends on what sounds you're having trouble with, but ship has that sh, the sh sound. We want to make sure it's not chipwrecked with a ch. Sometimes that can be confused for each other. So there's ch and there's sh. One is a burst sound, ch, and one is a continuous sound, sh. Both are voiceless, but shipwrecked has that sh sound. Shipwrecked. So there's the P to the R combination, and then there's the K to the T. Does anybody feel like they have a hard time with this word that wants to kind of try it out? You can do the raised hand icon, to volunteer here. But there are a few situations here, a couple situations where we have two consonants right next to each other, which can be a little challenging. No? Okay, then we'll go ahead and move on. Oh, I'm excited for my other computer to get fixed. Okay, Pranapda, and you'll have to excuse my pronunciation there. How do I pronounce the words with GE and GE at the end, like, I'm being cut off here. Excuse me, ridge or change. People can't understand when I say ridge, they think I say rich. Okay? Pranapda, let's see, see if you're here today. Darn, hopefully we weren't having problems connecting to the webinar today. But let me just kind of go over this quickly. So the difference here is when GE is at the end, it's J, J, J. Okay? J is voiced, J. And it's that burst sound voiced. So it's the opposite of ch, 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 where ch has the same mouth position, but ch is voiceless. So if ridge and rich, if people are kind of confusing the two, we can realize, oh, okay, if you're trying to say ridge, but they're hearing rich, it's because the voice is not on. Okay, because that's the only difference between those two. All right, so ridge, we have to make sure that the j, j, j sound has the voice on it. So ridge, change, bridge, age, percentage. Okay, does anyone want to try this? Do the raise hand icon if you want to try this. All right, Wen, you there, Wen?
Yes, hello.
Hello. Okay, so let's do these words for me. So ridge,
ridge, change, bridge, age, percentage.
Percentage. Good. Okay, what's the percentage of the test? What's my percentage on the test? Let's say that. What's my percentage on the test?
What's my percentage on the test?
So it just kind of takes a little bit to a little bit of practice to connect it fluidly when you have that voiced ending at the end. Okay, I want to change my name.
I want to change my name.
I want to change my name. So do it kind of quickly. Let's see if we can connect it more. I want to change my name.
I want to change my name.
Change my name. Good. And we just kind of keep that voice on. Change my name. Change my name.
Change my name.
Yeah, there you go. Good.
Oh.
That connects really well. Good job, Wen.
And I have a really quick question right in here. So the word rigid.
Oh,
so
I'm going to stop you, Wen. The word. Get that D in. The word ridge. Yep.
The word rigid. Do we have to say the sound D?
So duh, so this ending here, the reason why I do duh, DG on it, because it's a little bit of, because it's not guh, it's not duh, it's there in the middle, it's in between those two. So it's a combination of those two. So you do kind of start this sound with your mouth in the same position as the D. Ja. Da, 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 ja. Da, da. You kind of feel where your tongue is when you have that da, 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 da. It's the same place. Da, 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 ja.
Da, 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 ja.
You kind of feel where your tongue is kind of there with the D at the same place as the D. Da, ja. Da, ja.
Da, ja. Ja.
Da, ja. Da, ja. So that's why I do the DG, because it's a little bit of a combination of the two there. Okay. You kind of start with your tongue in the same position as the D sound, but it kind of closes off more than the D sound does.
J.
J. J.
J.
So ridge is not necessarily going to have a D sound in it. It's just going to have this J sound in it.
Gotcha. So it's ridge.
You got it.
Okay.
All right. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry, I kind of cut off. Okay, Vinali, let's see. Your microphone is not showing up here, so I'm going to leave you unmuted. See if you can kind of get that. Oh, looks like it's working. Vinali, you there?
Yes, hi. How are you, Annie?
All right, great. Good to have you here.
Same here. Thank you.
All right, you want to try some of these words for me?
Sure.
Okay, go for it.
So, bridge, change, percentage, and I forget the word. I'm sorry.
Age. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I saw you but I didn't see the computer screen.
Oh, okay. Are all of you seeing just me, or you probably can move my face out of the way and see the desktop. So hopefully, so I have ridge, change, bridge, age, and percentage. So do that for me. Ridge. Change.
Percentage, bridge,
and age.
Yeah,
good. So there's in connected speech, as you listen to this and listen to people, you'll see that it's not like we walked across the bridge, and like a real emphasis on the voiced j sound. There might be a little bit of a reduced quality to that. We walked across the bridge. Bridge. It's not necessarily going to be this obvious j sound usually, but what we want to make sure is if people are thinking you're saying rich instead of ridge, then that tells you have to put more voice on that ending. That you're making it a little too voiceless. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. So I don't know if it's if you tend to have this problem, but for any of these voiced endings, if they're being confused with a voiceless ending, it just means we got to get that voice on a little bit more. Okay?
Okay.
All right, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, here, Vanali. I think I cut you off. You there?
Yes.
Did you have another question?
Yeah, just like related to this one, I have a like EDGE, age, age. I
Edge. Yes.
edge. I have a difficulty with that
Okay.
pronouncing.
Okay. That's fine.
Age, I can pronounce very well with age, but when I pronounce edge, it sound like a age.
Yep. So this is the difference. This is a vowel issue. Okay. So
Okay.
what we want to do is correct the vowel there. So
Okay.
age and edge. So what we have with age is we have the long A sound. With
Okay.
edge, we have the short sound. So it's
Oh.
the same as in bed. And this one is the same as like save. Okay? Save,
Okay.
ave. So bed, edge, edge.
Bad, edge.
So I'm guessing that
Edge.
bed and bad probably sound the same to you. So same
Yeah.
for you. So say
Yeah.
bed, bad.
Bed,
Here, do that again. Bed, bad.
bed, bad.
Good. I like how that second time you got the voiced ending at the end too, because the first time I heard bat instead
Oh,
of bad. Yeah. So
bad.
make sure those endings are on there as well. Okay, so do this. Age, edge.
Age, edge.
Perfect. Okay, so
Okay.
that's the difference there. And here we have the short E sound because there's two consonants in between that vowel,
Vowels. Okay.
the vowels, right? So we're going to get that short sound.
Okay. So for age is a long A vowel and the E is a short vowel.
Yeah, it's a short vowel. It's that short E.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good. Yep, that's the trick there, is to make sure that you're getting those vowels the way they need to. Okay, let me go over to let me just look at, see how we are doing with the questions. I think we got to the end of the specific questions that were emailed. So I'm going to, and Leah, I haven't forgotten about your question, so let's actually get into that one right now. And then we'll start just working down the list. Okay, Leah, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So I'm just going to read off the email. 'Cause I got that before I could put it in here. So, or after I could put it in. Leah says, how do you pronounce the two R vowels right after each other? Like in the sentence, I like your car. When I do it, it sounds unnatural and not very fluent. Maybe I'm not supposed to pronounce the or the R sound as much. Okay. Great question. So those R vowels can get tricky if first of all, if you have a little bit of a hard time with the R vowels and then connecting multiple ones together. That's why in those sentences, in the paragraphs and the worksheets I give you, I load them all very heavily with the target sound. So you're practicing almost these tongue twisters. Because if you can do that, then you can do normal speech. So I like your car. I like your car. So typically what happens with this one, your, when it's a standalone pronunciation, your is, we do yo, your, kind of like that, your, with a long O. But what you'll see in connected speech is more like your. Your. I like your car. I like your car. Okay, so that's probably the one that's going to get changed more than anything else. So try that for me. Well, first of all, do it like you normally would.
I would say I like your car, but I don't know if I'm supposed to say I like your car.
No, the way you're doing it is very natural. So the your, I like your car. I like your car. I think
Okay.
yeah, so say that again.
I like your car.
Good. Good. I'm going to jump over to, let me go into the workbook here, and I'm going to have you read some of the sentences, the R vowel paragraph for me, and I want to kind of get a feel for the R vowels from you. That sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me make sure. Get to the right page. Are you seeing the workbook? I'm scrolling through.
Yeah.
Okay. So R vowels are going to be here. Let me hear the paragraph here. Go ahead when you're ready.
Okay. I hope the car will start in this cold weather. I've been tardy 4 times now in 2 weeks. I really have to be at work on time, especially today. My boss is starting standard evaluations of all employees. I'm nervous that my boss will think I'm a bad worker and fire me. This Thursday, my neighbor Mark will look at the car. I hope he can repair it so I don't have to keep being tardy to work.
Good. Okay, so what's happening is that the R sound, there's kind of a balance here, and you're at a very high level in your pronunciation and fluency in your American accent. So what we're talking about here is very, very, very subtle differences. Okay. So keep that in mind as we're talking through this, because it gets trickier and trickier the more subtle it is. So what I'm hearing, the car, you're putting a lot of emphasis on that R. And for a lot of our students, that's important, they're saying more ka instead of car. So we have to tell them to pull the R back really strong. In your situation, I want to lighten it up a little bit. Okay?
All right.
The car will start. The car will start. Say that for me. The car will start.
The car will start.
Yeah, so a little bit. Yeah, so instead of pulling it kind of more intensely and really emphasizing that, now it's a matter of just kind of softening it a little bit to get just a more natural sound to those R sounds. And I know like right now we're focused on the R's, so it might be different when you're speaking in conversation. You won't necessarily like emphasize those, but that's the only difference that I'm hearing with those R vowels for you. Is maybe a little bit less emphasis there. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
A couple of things I just want to point. It's such a high level, so I just wanted to point out a few things so that it would help. But evaluations has that invisible Y, so you're going to get evaluations.
All right.
So say that for me.
Evaluations.
Yeah. Okay, good. And then bad worker, you kind of took the D off of at the end there. So let's connect that. Bad worker. Good. Okay, excellent. Yeah, and you're at a higher level, and so there is just these small little differences, but just kind of keep working on those differences, and it might help to come to more of these webinars and as you're going along to kind of help you know what it is that, or even an accent assessment or something like that to kind of help identify what are those small differences.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, thanks, Leah.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, good. Okay, I'm going to jump into these questions here. Okay, Vinali is asking about the R sound. So let's go ahead and get into the R sound. Do a little bit of practice. We're already here. So Vinali, you there?
Yeah, hi.
Hello. Okay, so is it all R sounds, or have you identified kind of the R at the beginning, the R blend, or the R vowels that are more difficult?
When I submit my assignment, the feedback is that working on the initial R is not very well. So that's why I want to practice with you with the R sound.
Okay, so the initial R here. Okay, let me hear the paragraph from you.
Okay. The river that runs near the old road has gotten dry for the summer. We wait for the autumn rains to fill the river deep.
Okay, here I'm going to stop you right there, and we're gonna do a few things. So what's happening with the R sound?
Yes.
Is your tongue is kind of coming up and dancing in your mouth here to kind of get a little. It's getting a little bit more movement, and we want to kind of keep it down and smoothed out. Okay. So what we want to do is smooth it out slowly. So do this with me. River.
River.
Here, let's do runs because river has that R at the end. Runs.
Run.
So I'm getting more. So I'm getting kind of a run, run. So there's a little bit of that, and I want it to be ra, ra, ra.
Ra, ra,
Okay, so let's do summer, summer.
Summer, summer.
Okay, and pull that tongue back. Summer.
Summer.
Okay, summer.
Summer.
Okay, do dry.
Drive.
There, that's a really good R sound. So do that again. Dry.
Drive. Drive.
Dry.
Dry.
Okay, so here's what we have to do. So that's what I like to do is identify where are you saying the R sound correctly, and then we have to kind of pay more attention to how the R is for that word. So dry, I'm getting that. How about cry? Say that for me, cry.
Cry.
Okay, so that one's getting good. How about green?
Green. Green.
Green.
Green.
Okay, so hold on that R. Do this for me. Ra, 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 ra.
Ra, 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 ra.
Okay. Okay, so it's going to take a little bit more for me to kind of adjust that R sound. So are you okay waiting to the end of the webinar and we'll spend a little bit more time on it? Or do you have to go?
I have to go work.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let me...
Maybe next seminar I'll be with you with the R sound.
Okay, let's do that. Go ahead and email me and say, hey, Annie, remember the next webinar we're going to work on the R sound, and I'll put it into it, okay?
Okay,
but
sure.
Sometimes it does take a little bit more adjusting to make sure that we can get the R in the right position, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to go through here. Let's see. Okay. Ignacio, let's go ahead into your questions. Hi, Ignacio.
Hi, I'm here.
Hello. All right, so you were asking about the tap T pronunciation. Okay, so you're saying the tap T pronunciation really means a flat T pronunciation, or is it a different T concept? So flat T, or tap T, is really a D pronunciation.
A D, yeah.
D, yeah.
D.
So instead of T, it's D. D, da, 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 da. Let me even just go into that sound. And the key here, and I actually added this as like a note for students at the end of the tap T rule. Hold on, let me find this.
My question is if the type T is the same a flat T, because when I make the test, when I did the test, I got confused. I couldn't figure out what really means.
Oh, okay.
What
So in
does
the
it mean?
quiz, it was in the quiz that it
Yeah,
was confusing.
yeah.
Okay, I'll
Because
have to go in and look at what that question was and kind of get a feel for it. But the tap T, a flat T pronunciation. So it's more of a duh duh. So it's a full duh, duh, duh,
yeah.
duh, duh. It's exactly the same as the letter D.
Butter, computer,
Butter. Yeah.
ready, uh,
Yeah. So letter,
letter,
letter.
letter.
Yeah, and maybe it's are you talking about kind of another sound that's similar in Spanish? Is that what you're kind of referring to?
No, 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 because I
Oh,
I
okay.
I, I know that words as flat T because people
Oh,
from North America
flat. Yeah.
flat T. They don't pronounce the T like a T. They pronounce like a D.
Yeah.
And I was confused, or I got confused because I didn't know how to answer the questions,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe I got wrong. I have to redo the test.
Okay, so in the quiz. So let me take a look at that and kind of review, and I will let me review it, and I'll email you
Okay, thank you.
and talk to you about it. Sometimes the tap T is called a flat T as well, so that might be what you're kind of thinking of. But let me review the wording there and help you understand why, what the difference is there in that
Okay.
quiz question. Okay?
It's not a flat, it's flat, no flat, like a,
Right. So
oh
flat,
yeah.
flat, not flat. So he was kind of saying flat, but it's
Okay.
flat.
Oh, like
Flat.
a tap T. It's the same words.
Same,
It really means the same.
same. It means the same. Tapped and flat. So it's
Okay,
kind of
thank
just
you.
saying like we're tapping or we're flapping our tongue.
Okay.
It's kind of that question.
Okay, thank you. I got it.
Okay. All right, good.
Thank you.
Let me just make sure. Oh, Ignacio, while we're on this, so you had a few other. Oh, these were with the tap T, butter, computer, 30.
Yeah.
That was the examples. Okay.
Correct.
All right, good.
Getting. Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right, let's see. Okay. So I've gotten to the end of the questions that are written there in the questions box. If anybody else has any questions, go ahead and write them in there. Usually we go quite a long time, but here, let's do this. So if anyone's wanting to just kind of read a paragraph and get some feedback, Chatu, I see that your hand's raised. Chatu, are you there? And I'm probably pronouncing your name wrong. Chatu? I think that's you.
Yeah, ma'am. About
Yes, hello.
yeah, okay.
How do you pronounce
Are
your
able to
first
hear
name?
me? Okay.
Yeah, how do you pronounce your first name?
Ma'am, Chatu. Chatu, ma'am.
Chatu. Okay.
It's the
Chatu.
Yes.
Okay, I see that your hand is raised. Did you have a question about what something we're talking about or something else?
No, actually, I want to get some feedback from you, and I have one problem like P and if. Like you told me one video that P should be pronounced like brushed off sound should be come from your front mouth, like P, paper, and but when I pronounce the phone, I can see this phone pronounced like a if, means so here is the problem. So phone should be pronounced like a phone, or it should be, so here is a little confusion for me.
Okay, so the PH sound, PH has an F pronunciation. Yeah. So it's going to be a little bit different than just a regular P. So is that the word you're talking about, phone? Because paper has that P sound, which is that burst of sound. Paper. Phone, whenever we have the PH sound, PH is going to be an F pronunciation.
Yeah.
Phone. Phone. So I'm trying to think. Phase is going to be the same thing. Phase.
Okay.
Paragraph. Paragraph has that F at the end.
Paragraph.
So paragraph is a good example of there's a P at the beginning, right? But then there's a PH at the end, and it's going to have that F. Paragraph.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make more sense?
Yeah.
And that's actually a really good thing that I need to include on the P lesson is to say, okay, when there's a PH, make sure that's an F pronunciation and not a bursted sound.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll add that.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's good feedback for me. All right, and did you want to let's do a little bit of reading here.
Yeah.
Let me go into a paragraph here. I know it's heavy on N sound, but I'll be listening for other things. So go ahead and read this paragraph, and I'll kind of give you some feedback here.
Yeah, sure. My neighbor's name's Nancy, Nick, and Nice. When Nick and were new to the neighborhood, they knocked on our door and introduced themselves as Nancy and Nick Nielsen. That night, there was a surprise housewarming party. It was a very nice night. We tried to say thank you, but they said it was not necessary.
Okay, good. So there was an ending here when Nicole and I, say that for me.
Okay, Nicole and I.
Oh. Good.
Okay.
Good. So are there specific with the TH sound? The TH sound sounding really good. Was that something you've worked on before?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Actually, I told you I already go through your YouTube videos, and I was how to pronounce TH, and it's very tricky it's a new word, so TH how to pronounce, and every day I stand in front of my mirror, and I see my tongue is I can see in my front of my mirror. So every day I practice, and I get nice TH sound also.
Good. Well, it's sounding really nice. So that practice really paid off. So for all of you who are struggling with that TH sound, just know from Chatu, right, that it just takes time, right? It takes time and practice, and you'll get it. All right, good. So a big thing for Chatu, and maybe we talked about this last time, I'm trying to remember, but a lot of it is just the rhythm now. You know, a lot of the sounds you've cleared up, and now I want you to really focus on the rhythm of English, okay? That the sentence stress and the connecting and linking and that flow that between word to word, okay? And kind of when to raise your voice, when to lower your voice, and you know, that intonation, okay?
Yes.
Okay, but you're doing great. Sure. You're doing really, really well. Yeah. Good job, Chatu.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
All right, just looking here, see if we have any. All right. Okay, Sunny, let's get you on the hot seat. Hold on, let me. Sunny, you there? Sunny. Let's see if we can get your microphone to work here. So I'll keep you unmuted if you're able to get that microphone working. Okay. And if anyone else wants to kind of volunteer for what sometimes we refer to as the hot seat, as in just kind of getting some feedback on overall what you need to be focused on or working on. Otherwise, I'm going to jump into, let me see. So when you there?
Hello again.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll do when, and then we'll do Ignacio. And Sunny, I have your microphone unmuted, so if at any time you can kind of get that working, then then we'll be able to hear you. Okay, so when, here's what I want you to do. I know when you've been working and working and working and practicing and doing such a good job and coming to these webinars and getting feedback, and you've just been doing everything so well. So I know that you're more at a conversational level. Instead of needing to read through some things, you're at a conversational level. So maybe let's talk about, you can talk about something that you did over the weekend, last weekend, or something that's coming up, or a trip, or let's see, or something about your family. I'm just gonna get you talking here, okay?
Okay, so I just say anything. What I did on Saturday. On Saturday, I saw a house that needed a lot of work in my neighbor. So me and my husband and my brother went there and see the house, and we did a repair estimator to see whether we can afford to buy this house. So in general, the house need $150,000 to fix it, to make it modern. So how's that sound?
Good. Okay. So 150,000. So the first time, and this is kind of what I do, the first time you're speaking, I'm listening for more of the sounds, and then I kind of switch my brain over to the rhythm of English. Okay. So sometimes I can think about both, but a lot of times I kind of have to do one or the other. So so you're getting those ending sounds. I know that's been a challenge here. So getting those ending sounds sounded really good. Now we need to kind of connect them and link them to the next word so that there's more of a flow between the ending sound and the beginning of the next sound. Okay, so you're doing a great job of getting those ending sounds. So now let's kind of work on that linking, what we refer to as linking. Okay.
I have a question. Like, how can I feel like I think very slow. Like, that's why all the word didn't sound like naturally come out to my mouth. I mean, do you have any suggestion that I can think quicker? I know it's a weird question.
A strategy that we use or a strategy that I use as I'm thinking, I have a question like this. So you can kind of see that there's a little bit of pausing as I'm trying to figure out what to say, but I'll take chunks, okay? Think of your phrases in chunks. So I'm thinking of this phrase in chunks. So there was one chunk. And I'm going to answer this question, and pausings are okay. Pausing's okay. We just want to make sure it's not between every word. Okay,
Hi,
like
Lily.
that. Okay, so,
Sunny back.
Oh, Sunny's back. Hi, Sunny. Here.
Sorry.
That's okay. So go ahead, and I'll keep you unmuted just to make sure that your microphone works. But I'm gonna keep going with when until we finish this idea. Okay?
Sure. Thanks.
And then we'll continue with you. Okay. So when so think of it in terms of chunks. We can pause and think about what we're going to say next, but we don't want to pause after every word while we're thinking. Okay, so can you kind of feel the difference? So I'm trying to show while I'm talking. So think of it in chunks or phrases. So if you can think, okay, I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to say a phrase, and if I have to pause between the phrases, that's fine. But then, so that's a more fluent way of thinking while you're trying to speak, where it's not going to be so halted for your listener, but it's more natural. It's kind of, everybody, there are times when everybody needs a little bit more time to think of their response. And so, but it's just a matter of pausing appropriately so it doesn't sound awkward. So using those chunks or phrases, trying to get out one phrase and pause before you then get out the next phrase. will be a little bit more natural and helpful for you, so that you can be fluent while still trying to think about what to say.
Okay, I will try to, yes, I will try to do that chunk.
Okay, good.
To think of the chunk.
Yeah, exactly. And then practice. It's going to just take, as you speak in English, you'll get better at, there's that kind of that translation situation that happens until you become more and more comfortable with the language. And then the more you become comfortable with it, the less you'll have to translate in your head before you speak.
Do you think repair a speech will help me?
So repair of speech, meaning working on your pronunciation and fluency?
Yes, like repair a topic and talk about it every day, for 5 minutes.
So you're saying repair or replay?
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean prepare.
Oh, prepare. Okay. So I heard repair on that one. So
Yeah.
Prepare. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So thinking of a topic, and that's the thing about speaking in English, is sometimes we just don't have experience speaking about politics, or we don't have experience. It's funny. It's interesting to me because a lot of my clients, they'll have a hard time pronouncing pretty common words like bathtub. Bathtub. And so I got thinking, I'm like, that's a very common word. Why would, they not know that word? And it's because at home you don't call it a bathtub, you call it whatever it is in your first language. And so it's not a common conversation with other English speakers. It's a home conversation, but it's not, and so there's a lot of situational topics that you might just need to practice talking about and preparing. Yeah, preparing in advance, kind of, okay, here's a topic, here's me talking about it. Record yourself doing that, and then play it back and see how much you're able to use those chunks or those, those longer phrases in between. Okay?
Okay, I'll try that. Thank you very much, Anne.
And I know you'll do it because you have followed through with everything that I've taught you. So I love it, and it's made such a huge difference. So keep going, okay?
Thank you.
All right, Sunny, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, Annie.
Hi. Okay, so I don't have a TED Talk pulled up right now, but I know you're more at the level of conversation. So I want you to tell me about some things you did over the weekend, or things that are upcoming, or something going on recently.
Oh, sure. Yes.
So go ahead and talk so that I can kind of get a.
The weather in New York is really warm lately, and yes, we enjoying the warm weather. So like the weekend, even though we are in winter, but now it's like 50, 60, and sometimes 70. So we enjoy the weather here, and we just celebrate my daughter's 13th birthday.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah. So we had a nice dinner with family and friends. So that's really good. What else I'm going to talk about?
So New York usually in this time is pretty cold, but right now it's warm.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So does that mean you're getting outside and doing more outside, or?
Yeah, we're doing more outside. We're going to the park, like yes.
Okay.
Yeah. What else did I want to talk about? Yes, and also I'm looking forward to buy a bigger house. Like I know Ren is in real estate industry, and we've been talking. So we connected. But we planning to do our maybe once a week. We can set up time like.
You're getting into. Wait, say that again. You're.
With Kara. Oh, I don't know what's the pronounced Chinese name. The one that you just is Wen. YEH?
Oh, yeah.
YEN? Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So thank you for like pass along her
Oh, yeah.
content. So we kind of connected, and we did our first phone conversation.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yes.
Good. Oh, I'm glad that worked out.
Yes, that's really helpful.
Good.
And so hopefully we can keep up with it and help each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I like that, and that's encouraging to me that that as you guys work together, that you'll be able to keep improving and practicing. That's excellent.
And
Okay.
I also like the new thing that you put on in the program, the quizzes, like and what the other thing that you have for the strong email.
The strong start email.
Strong start email. Is it that tell you how to plan your study time?
Yes. So that's just kind of breaking up day by day, kind of what you would do, and it's just for the first 2 weeks to give you a feel of how to study and how to break down the material. But I can send you, if you email in to say, can I get the information from the emails? I can send you a link to the information that's sent there. So I kind of summarized or condensed it into a web page. So you can kind of read through and get a feel for it. Okay?
Oh, great. Yes.
And for any of those who want it more in that framework instead of the individual emails, I can send you that link as well. So.
Great.
All right. Okay, so let me give you a little feedback here. Okay, so you're doing much better with the ending sounds. There were just 2 that I heard, the K in New York.
Okay.
I want to get that K sound in there, and outside. We want to get outside, and we do more outside, and want to play there. Okay. There was just 2 TH sounds. Keep up with it.
Keep up with it.
And weather. Get those 2 TH sounds. But I know those TH sounds. You've been working on them, and you're getting them for the most part. But there's just a few that are slipping through. Okay. The other.
Weather. Okay.
Weather. Wait, do that again. Weather.
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 Good.
It seems like even though the rule that we learn, we know the rule, but it's kind of when you get to normal speech, it's kind of come out more natural in.
Yes.
But now it's like when I read, so I know, and I see the word, so I will know. Oh, this now the tongue had to put in the right position to say it, but like still haven't come natural with the normal speech yet.
Yes, so that's the progression, right? You're doing a lot better as you're reading, and that's why I said I don't want you to read for me, I want you to just talk, because I know you're at that level, at conversational level, where that's where you really need to keep practicing and working on it, because you can do it when you're reading, so now we got to start being more and more aware of it in your conversation so that we can correct those. So like Wen was talking about, choosing a topic, recording yourself on that topic, and then being able to play that back and think, okay, am I getting my TH sounds in there? Am I getting my, there's L sounds here, celebrate and planning. I want you to get those L sounds in there. Celebrate, planning.
Celebrate and planning.
Good. And then the ending R sounds in winter and bigger. I want them to be stronger. So I'm hearing
winter and bigger.
Yeah, exactly. So just a stronger R there. So as you read out loud, first I want you to warm up kind of reading out loud, and then choose a topic and record yourself just talking in conversation about that topic, trying to get these sounds in there. Okay?
Okay, got it. Thank you, Annie.
Good job, Sunny. Okay, so good for a lot of you to kind of see how that works is you go from one level to the next. You have to really work at kind of that word, sentence, paragraph, reading level, and get your mouth trained on that. But then as we go into conversation, more into conversation, there is some, a different strategy there that allows you to kind of move that more and more completely into conversation. All right, Ignacio, let's see. Let's get.
Yeah.
Hello. All right, so tell me what week of the program you're in, Ignacio.
Can you repeat that? I didn't get.
Oh, sorry. What week of the program are you in? Like, are you
I
just
just
starting? Or are you?
second to third week.
Okay, good. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I'm going to have you read through the TH
sound.
one of the TH sounds here. Let's just go through the first, the voiced TH, initial voiced TH. So do this for me. This,
Okay.
that,
Okay.
the.
This, that, them, then, those, this, they, the, tie.
Good. Okay. So that mouth position is going to be a little tricky for a while you get comfortable with that, okay? I know your mouth is going to want to say this, that, those, right?
Yeah.
A little bit more of the D sound instead of the TH sound. Yeah.
Okay.
So we want to make sure that the tongue is between your teeth a little bit, and it's more of just like a pushing between your tongue. You know, so the tongue is not fully on the roof of your mouth, but it's there behind your front teeth. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so really concentrating on that here at the beginning is the first step, because that TH sound is the most common consonant you're going to see in English. And so you're going to see it over and over again. So the more you can practice that, the better right now. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
As you move on, you know, you can go into more the vowels and some other things, but really, really practice that TH sound here at first. Okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, let's see. Let's do Giampero. Giampero, you there?
Piero.
Pero.
Giampiero.
Giampero, okay. All right. I'm going to use my American sounds for your name, but it doesn't always work out that way, right? Okay, so tell me, what week of the program are you in currently?
I'm in week 7, and
okay.
And my problem is with short vowels.
Okay, short vowels, kind of getting that feeling for the. Are there any specific short vowels that are kind of more difficult for you?
Yes, I think I really can't recognize the difference when you say some word. If I watch you, it's clear because your mouth is moving in a different way. But if you only read the words and I only listen to you without watching, it's very difficult.
Okay. Okay. So difficult to kind of hear the difference between the different short vowel sounds. Okay.
The short A, for example. The short A, for example.
Mhm. Okay. Well, let's do this. So I want to hear you saying it. So there's kind of hearing the difference and there's saying the difference. So let me kind of hear you doing it, and then we can kind of contrast if I'm hearing anything different than the correct, you know, short A sound. Okay? So go ahead and read this paragraph for me. A fat man.
A fat man wearing a black hat was walking down the street. He met a black cat along his path. He believed black cats were bad luck. He grew mad at the cat. He shouted to scare the cat, but he was not scared. The man grabbed an apple from his back pocket and threw it at the cat. He missed. The scared cat ran away as fast as it could.
Good. Okay, I'm hearing really good things with your vowels, actually. Okay, so I'm hearing some good short vowels, and it seems like you're making the distinction between the short vowels and the long vowels. Here's a couple of things I'm going to draw your attention to. He. Say that for me. He.
He.
Okay.
He.
So there's two things here. We want to make sure we get the H sound. So on this one, I just heard he missed, and I didn't get a sound in there. So he. Yep. He missed. So we want to make sure whenever we have that H sound, which you didn't correctly most of the time, but there was one time that I didn't quite hear that H sound. So getting that H, he, and then the longer E sound. He missed. He missed.
All right.
And then the man grabbed an apple. Do that for me.
Yeah.
The man grabbed an apple.
The man grabbed an apple.
Good.
The man grabbed an apple.
So what I'm hearing is the man grabbed an apple. An apple. You're kind of adding an H sound in there. An apple. And I want it to be grabbed an apple.
Grabbed an apple.
Yeah.
The man grabbed an apple. I always thought that was apple, something like an short e, not apple. You say apple.
So I'm saying apple. Yeah, same as like hat, right? Or at apple, same as like a new app on my phone, right? A new app and apple are going to be the same beginning. So what I'm hearing from you is happle. Happle. So I'm hearing more of an H sound, and we don't want that H sound. We want it to start with apple. And what you're saying is you're thinking more of an E, like apple, or?
Yes, E. Something like E. I always thought that it was apple.
Okay.
With a he.
With a he? Okay, so no he at the beginning of that one. So just apple. Yeah, just an apple.
Okay.
Okay, same as app. You know, I have a new app on my phone. I have a new Apple phone. Okay, good. Yeah, you got it. Okay, so yeah, so you're doing a good job with the vowel sounds. I think really paying attention to, especially as you continue on, because you're on week 7, so now we're going to do a lot of review. Really pay attention to the rhythm and kind of that intonation, when you're rising, when you're lowering, in your intonation and in that stress pattern, because that's going to be the next phase for you to really concentrate on. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, good. All right, Chandra, we're going to have you go, and then and I think we'll end here today. Chandra, are you there?
Yes. Hi, Annie. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
Good. So tell me what week of the program you're in and what you're working on right now.
Yes. Right now I'm completing 3rd week, and I just completed the quiz yesterday.
Okay. All right. Good. Is there anything specific that you're finding challenging, or?
I think I am improving a little bit. Like I'm just concentrating more on the sounds and letters where I have to stress, and what are the things I have to concentrate. But just wanted if there is any paragraph like I can read out so that you understand and give me some feedback, that will really help me.
Okay, good. All right, go ahead and do this paragraph right here with the short A sounds.
Okay, just give me 1 second. A fat man wearing a black hat was walking down the street. He met a black cat along his path. He believed black cats were bad luck. He grew mad at the cat. He shouted to scare the cat, but it was not scared. The man grabbed an apple from his back pocket and threw it at the cat. He missed. The scared cat ran away as fast as it could.
Okay, good. Okay, so there are a few things I'm going to point out here, and it will be good for you. I know you haven't gotten to some of these things yet in the program, but just for me to kind of give them to you and say, just be aware of these things as you move forward, okay?
Yes.
So with the specifically the short A sound, I'm hearing what I typically hear with more of a British English pronunciation is pa, pa, ah, ah. So it's going to be more pa, 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 instead of pa, pa. Okay? So what tends to happen, especially with kind of British English pronunciation, is path, the ah sound becomes poth, poth, with more of an ah sound. So we want it to be more of that ah, not ah. Okay? Ah, ah. And you did a great job when I heard you with the word mad. You said mod, mod, and then you corrected yourself and you said mad. You know, so I can tell that you're aware of it. It's just a matter of breaking the habit of saying it the other way, right? Yes. So that's what just comes as you go through the program. Means you have more exposure and practice with it. You'll become more and more comfortable with that change. Okay. Same thing with pocket. Pocket. Let me think for a second what I might have heard from you. Back pocket. Pocket. Okay. I was hearing more pocket instead of pocket. So that short ah. As you get into the short vowels, just be aware of, you know, the long vowel versus the short vowel. So long O versus short ah. So instead of pocket, having more of a pocket, it's pocket. Mm-hmm. And then I can tell that you, with the TH sound, that you've been working on that, and that you're getting your mouth in position. So just keep doing what you're doing, because it's getting stronger and stronger. Occasionally I'll hear a TH sound in there that is a little not as strong as the others, but it just tells me that you're still working on it. Okay? Oh, yeah. So like through, and that has that THR, which can be an interesting combination. So do that for me. Do this one. The man grabbed an apple from his back pocket and threw it at the cat.
The man grabbed an apple from his back pocket and threw it at the cat. Okay. You are going to do an incredible job with this program, because you can adjust very quickly. That's great. And then the other, yeah, go ahead. But the continuation is missing. Like, you know, if I read the paragraph in my own pronunciation, I can read it very quickly and clear. But when I concentrate on the, you know, sounds and the rhythm, somewhere it's like, you know, missing the line. When I go like the scared cat ran away. So when I see that, I'm missing something. So it may take some time to, you know, catch up the speed or something. But
yes, yeah. So like I said, even when I'm listening to someone, the first time I'm listening for sounds, and then I start listening for rhythm. So same thing goes for when you're concentrating on something. You might be able to concentrate on that specific target sound that you're working on, but then the rhythm and some of these other things are kind of harder to also do at the same time. So right. What happens is that as you focus, first is really focusing on the sounds, because we have to really retrain the position of the mouth. And that takes a lot of focus and practice. And I want to make sure that those sounds are corrected. And then when you really get more comfortable with the specific sounds and changing those sounds, then when you start working on rhythm more and more, it's much easier to focus on the rhythm, because the sounds are more of a habit now. And so in the first 6 weeks, you might feel like you're focusing more on the sounds than the rhythm. In the second 6 weeks, that changes a bit. We focus a bit more on the rhythm than the specific sounds. Okay?
So one more question, Annie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is there any way that I can connect all the people who are taking the course and I just talk to them? Because, you know, people who are taking the course, they understand well to communicate whatever we do, and we can understand both. Rather speaking with you know, outside the people. So
yes,
is there
and
any way that I communicate?
There is, and I am working on that right now with my programmer. Actually, we're working on a forum. Kind of a forum place on the PronunciationPro website that we can kind of all connect, and you guys can all connect, so that you can find practice partners and things like that. So I'm really working on it. We're trying to get all the pieces in place so that it works as it should. But I got the quizzes out, and that was kind of a project. So now my focus is on the forum and getting you all connected so you can practice. Because I know that Sunny and Wen, there's a couple students that have been coming to the webinars that have connected. So if you're looking for someone to kind of connect with, I'm going to give you, Sunny, hopefully you're okay with it, but I'm going to, Sunny is really good at kind of working with other students too. So let me connect you with him and see if there's kind of a connection you guys can make there, okay? In the meantime, because when we get going with the forum, when we launch that, then we'll have a better way of everyone kind of having a chance to communicate with each other.
Right.
Yep.
That's
yeah.
Really
so
nice.
Good. So that's what I'm working on right now. That's the next step in the program for me. Okay.
Yeah. So you are doing a lot of background.
Yes. Yes. There's a lot in the background going on to try and keep improving the program. So it's good. It's good.
I like the part. I just wanted to mention here the quiz. Whenever I complete the program, I practice completely 100%, 1-2 times, and whatever you suggested. After then, if I go for the quiz, still we make some couple of mistakes. So really, when you review that, you will understand what it is going wrong. So I'm observing myself, like exactly where it is going wrong, and still I have to catch up with something. So that is really helping. So,
good. Yeah, that's what we were trying to do with the quizzes, is just think, okay, what are the kind of the main ideas and the main things from this week that we really want our students to fully understand? And the quizzes really are a learning piece. It's kind of part of the lessons, because that opportunity to kind of test your knowledge of the concepts and how you're hearing things, and then being able to review. If you got it wrong, let's review and see why, and be able to learn that way as well. So I'm glad that's been helpful.
Yes.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you for your feedback there. So come to these webinars again, okay, Chandra, as you continue through the program.
Yeah, I'll complete all 12 webinars, and I see myself after 12 weeks at least in a better position to speak.
Perfect. All right, excellent. I love it. Okay, let me just kind of look. I think we're there. I know I always go over so much over time, but at any point anyone has to leave. Don't feel like you're hurting my feelings if we go over the time we'll allotted. So I understand that some people can't stay for as long. But thank you so much for coming today. I really, really appreciate you being here and what I love so much is that you're putting the time and attention that really is required to make a lot of progress. So that's what I'm most impressed about, is this program works. You just have to put the time and attention to it. You have to watch the videos, follow through with the assignments, the homework, just practice consistently. It doesn't have to be for hours and hours a day. It might take you more than 12 weeks or even 5, 6, 7 months. I think that Sunny and Wen and some of those who have been coming to these webinars for a while, they've done the yearly memberships where they can kind of be in the program for a while. They take the mindset that, hey, if I just keep working day by day and one small step at a time, it really is amazing how far you can get. So just have that perspective, have that thought as you continue through. Say, I might not be perfect in my practice, I might not get it every single day, but I'm going to do as much as, do little by little, as much as I possibly can, and just stay as consistent as possible with it, and you will make huge progress. I've seen it over and over again, and I know that you can do it as well. Okay. So if you have any other questions, email me. Again, with the Strong Start emails, if you have any feedback on how things are going or corrections that need to be made with the program, please let me know, because that's what I'm doing here. And actually, for those of you who have interacted, emailed in and kind of interacted with my assistant, Gideani, she just had a baby on Friday. So she had a baby girl that was 9 pounds, 6 ounces. So a big baby girl. But she's doing very well. So so while she's kind of out enjoying her baby for a little while, I'm taking care of emails as well. So thank you for your patience and your kindness as I'm kind of trying to juggle a few different things here. But I really just am so grateful for everything, that just the kindness and the respect and just how wonderful you all are. So thank you so much for being so patient and kind. So yeah, Gideani will be back in probably a couple of months to kind of help out. And in the meantime, we are working on that forum. So, so we'll look forward to kind of having a more interaction between our students on the Pronunciation Pro website. I'm excited about that. Okay, thank you all for coming. And we'll go ahead and end now. So thanks so much, and we'll see you again at our next webinar. Keep practicing, keep working. Thanks.